Let me tell you something that will change your life forever. Respect is not something you ask for. It is something you embody. It is not given out freely, nor should it be. The way people treat you is a direct reflection of what you allow, what you tolerate, and what you fail to correct. And if you find yourself constantly overlooked, dismissed, or treated as if your presence holds no weight, I need you to understand one thing. This is not about them. It's about you. Too often, people believe that respect is something that will come naturally with time, status, or success. But the harsh truth is that the world does not work that way. People will only respect you to the degree that you respect yourself. If you allow them to undermine your worth, they will. If you accept less than you deserve, they will give you nothing more. If you wait for validation before standing tall, you will spend your entire life waiting. The problem is that most people do not command respect because they do not demand it from themselves first. They live their lives explaining, apologizing, and proving their worth to people who never intended to value them. They allow boundaries to be crossed because they fear conflict. They seek approval from those who will never truly see them. And in doing so, they lose the very thing that should be most sacred to them, their own self-respect. But this ends today. There is no force more powerful than a person who refuses to be disrespected. A person who understands their value, who stands firm in their principles, and who is willing to walk away from anything that does not honor them is unstoppable. They do not beg, they do not explain, and they do not tolerate what is beneath them. If you want to be one of those people, if you want to move through life with an unshakable presence, where people recognize your worth before you even say a word, then you must master the art of commanding respect. And that starts with 9 principles, each designed to reshape the way the world interacts with you. These are not just lessons. They're laws that, once followed, will ensure that no one ever dares to disrespect you again. Lesson 1. Stop explaining yourself to those who will never understand. There comes a point in life when you must make a crucial decision. Will you live for yourself, or will you exhaust yourself trying to be understood by those who are committed to misunderstanding you? Most people waste years, even decades, trying to justify their choices to people who do not respect them. They explain their dreams to those who secretly hope they fail. They defend their decisions to people who will twist their words at the first opportunity. They pour their energy into proving their worth to those who have already decided they are unworthy. This is a trap, a cycle designed to drain you, weaken you, and keep you small. You must break free. A person who commands respect does not waste their breath on explanations. They do not lower themselves to seek approval from those who do not value them. They understand a fundamental truth that has been echoed throughout history by the great Stoics. The more you explain yourself, the less people respect you. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, understood this well. He did not concern himself with the opinions of those who did not walk his path. He did not seek to justify his wisdom to those who refused to listen. Instead, he lived by his principles and let his actions speak for him. That is the key. You must stop explaining and start living. Think about how many times you have tried to clarify your intentions, only to be met with more questions, more doubts, and more criticism. You say why you chose a certain path, and they make you feel foolish for it. You explain why you left a toxic situation, and they question your strength instead of supporting you. It is a losing game because they are not listening to understand. They are listening to argue, to belittle, to maintain control over you. And here's the harsh truth. If someone does not respect you before the explanation, they will not respect you after it either. The ones who value you do not need constant justifications. They trust that you have reasons for what you do. They respect your choices, even if they do not fully understand them. But those who demand explanations are not looking for clarity. They are looking for power. They want you to defend yourself so they can poke holes in your reasoning. They want you to seek their validation so they can withhold it. They want you to depend on their approval so they can control you. The moment you stop explaining, everything shifts. You reclaim your power. You stop chasing the acceptance of those who will never give it to you. You remove yourself from the exhausting cycle of seeking understanding from those who thrive on keeping you in doubt. You rise above the noise. If you want to command respect, move in silence. Let your results be the only explanation you give. Let your success be the loudest answer to those who question your path. Stop explaining. Stop justifying. Stop seeking approval. The right people will understand you without words. The wrong people will never hear you, no matter how much you speak. Lesson 2. Set boundaries like your life depends on it, because it does. A life without boundaries is a life without respect. If you do not set limits on how people treat you, they will set them for you, and they will not be in your favor. The moment you allow someone to overstep, you send a silent message. I am willing to be disrespected. The moment you tolerate mistreatment, you tell the world that you are open to more of it. The truth is, most people are not actively trying to hurt or use you. But human nature is selfish. People will push as far as they are allowed. They will take more if you keep giving. They will test your limits, not because they are necessarily bad, but because you have not made it clear where the line is drawn. And if you do not enforce your boundaries, you do not have boundaries, you have suggestions. The Stoics understood that discipline over oneself is the foundation of strength. Setting boundaries is not about controlling others. It is about controlling yourself. It is about deciding what you will and will not tolerate and standing firm, no matter who tries to push past your limits. Look back at your life. How many times have you let things slide? How many times have you felt drained, exhausted, and used, yet remained silent because you didn't want to cause problems? How many times have you sacrificed your peace to keep others comfortable? That ends now. Boundaries are an act of self-respect. They are the difference between a life where you dictate the terms and a life where you are at the mercy of others. And the hardest part? The people who have benefited from your lack of boundaries will resist when you finally enforce them. They will call you selfish, rude, or ungrateful. They will try to guilt you into staying the version of yourself that was easy for them to manipulate. Let them. Because the reality is this: if someone disrespects you and you say nothing, they will do it again. If someone takes advantage of your kindness and you continue to give, they will never stop. If someone drains your energy and you allow it, you will eventually have nothing left for yourself. You cannot blame others for overstepping if you never built a wall to stop them. So from this moment on, you decide. You decide what you will allow. You decide what you will protect. You decide that your time, energy, and peace are sacred and not up for negotiation. And when someone crosses the line, you address it immediately. No explanations, no second chances, no long-winded debates about why they should treat you better. You correct the behavior, and if they refuse to respect your boundaries, you remove them. No hesitation. No guilt. The strongest people in history were not the ones who allowed themselves to be walked over in the name of kindness. They were the ones who understood that true power lies in the ability to stand firm, to demand respect through action, not words. So stand firm. Respect yourself first, and the world will have no choice but to follow. Lesson 3. Walk like you own the room, even if you don't. Before you even open your mouth, before you say a single word, the world has already decided how to treat you. Your posture, your energy, your presence, it all speaks before you do. And whether you realize it or not, people are always watching, always assessing, always deciding if you are someone to be taken seriously or someone to be overlooked. The way you carry yourself dictates how others perceive you. If you move through life apologetically, eyes down, shoulders slumped, hesitant in your actions, people will assume you are weak. They will see someone unsure of themselves, someone who can be pushed, ignored, or dismissed. But if you walk with quiet confidence, with an aura of certainty, the world will respond differently. People will respect you before they even know your name. This is not arrogance. This is not about being the loudest or most dominant in the room. This is about presence, the ability to exist in any space with the unwavering belief that you belong there. The Stoics understood that true confidence comes from within, from the knowledge that you control your own mind and emotions, that external opinions hold no weight over your sense of self. Marcus Aurelius did not need validation to know his worth. Epictetus did not beg for approval to speak with wisdom. They carried themselves with strength because they understood that their power did not come from outside recognition, it came from within. And that is what you must cultivate. Think of the most respected figures in history, leaders, philosophers, warriors. They did not demand attention. They did not chase approval. They simply existed with such an unshakable sense of purpose that others had no choice but to respect them. So how do you embody this? How do you walk like you own the room, even if you don't? Fix your posture. Stand tall. Shoulders back. Chin up. Do not shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Make deliberate movements. Do not fidget. Do not rush. Do not hesitate. Move with purpose, as if every step you take matters. Master the power of eye contact. Not as a challenge, not with aggression, but with the quiet confidence that says, I see you, and I know my worth. Speak with certainty. Remove weak phrases from your vocabulary. No more, I think, or I'm not sure, but speak as if your words carry weight, because they do. Own your space. Do not apologize for existing. Do not seek permission to take up room. The moment you act like you belong, people will assume you do. You do not need to be the wealthiest, the smartest, or the most experienced person in the room. But if you carry yourself with self-respect, people will treat you as if you are. Because here's the truth, people treat you based on the energy you project. If you carry yourself with self-doubt, they will doubt you. If you hesitate, they will question you. If you seek validation, they will withhold it. But if you exude quiet confidence, if you move through the world as if you are meant to be here, people will believe it. And eventually, so will you. Lesson 4. Stop seeking approval. You are not for everyone. From the moment we are born, we are conditioned to seek approval. We are taught that acceptance equals worth, that validation from others defines who we are. We mold ourselves to fit expectations, to avoid rejection, to be liked. But here is the hard truth. The need for approval is the enemy of self-respect. If you live for the acceptance of others, you will die with the regret of never having truly lived for yourself. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, warned against the trap of worrying about the opinions of others. He understood that no matter how noble, wise, or disciplined you are, there will always be those who misunderstand, criticize, or judge you. And it is not your duty to convince them otherwise. Your duty is to live by your principles, regardless of who approves or disapproves. Think about how much of your life has been spent trying to earn validation. How many times have you held back your true thoughts because you feared what others might think? How often have you changed your actions, your beliefs, or even your personality to fit into a space where you were never truly meant to belong? How much energy have you wasted explaining yourself to people who were never going to respect you in the first place? And for what? Did it ever bring you real fulfillment? Or did it leave you feeling drained, unseen, and disconnected from who you really are? You must free yourself from this prison. The truth is, you will never be for everyone. No matter what you do, some people will dislike you. Some will misjudge you. Some will twist your words, question your intentions, and undermine your choices. And that is perfectly fine. Because the goal is not to be liked by all, it is to be respected by the right ones. The ones who matter do not need you to prove yourself. They recognize your worth without explanation. They respect you for your actions, not for your attempts to fit their expectations. And the ones who demand that you constantly justify yourself? They are not looking for understanding. They are looking for control. So stop explaining. Stop apologizing for who you are. Stop bending yourself to fit into places that were never meant for you. Instead, stand firm in your truth. Say what you mean, do what aligns with your principles, and let people react however they choose. Your worth is not up for debate. And yes, you will lose people. Some will walk away. Some will resent the version of you that no longer seeks their approval. But that is not your burden to carry. Because for every person who drifts away, someone stronger, more aligned, and more respectful of who you truly are will step forward. This is the paradox. When you stop seeking approval, you gain the ultimate form of respect. Not because you forced it, not because you begged for it, but because you finally owned who you were without apology. And that, in itself, is power. Lesson 5. Be silent when they expect a reaction. Silence is not weakness. It is not surrender. It is not passivity. Silence is power. In a world where everyone is eager to react, to argue, to defend, and to prove a point, those who master silence stand apart. They hold a power that few understand, the power to control themselves when others lose control. When someone disrespects you, they expect you to react. They expect you to lash out, to explain, to beg for clarity, to match their aggression. They want to pull you into their game, a game where the person who reacts first always loses. But a Stoic understands that reacting emotionally is giving away control. It is handing over power to those who do not deserve it. True strength is not in the ability to shout the loudest. It is in the ability to remain unmoved, unfazed, and unshaken when the world tries to provoke you. Think about the last time someone pushed your buttons, insulted you, or tried to get a reaction out of you. Maybe they spread lies, twisted your words, or attempted to humiliate you. What did they want? They wanted your energy. They wanted to see you flustered, defensive, desperate to correct them. And the moment you gave in, you played right into their hands. Now, imagine a different response: silence. Imagine looking them in the eye, completely unbothered. Imagine refusing to engage, refusing to explain, refusing to let their words have any effect on you. Imagine walking away while they stand there, waiting for a reaction that never comes. That is power. That is control. That is the kind of presence that commands respect without saying a single word. Because here is the truth: words mean nothing if they are spoken to those who have already made up their minds. Arguments are pointless when they are with people who are not seeking truth, but rather seeking control. When you react, you validate their behavior. When you defend yourself, you acknowledge their accusations. When you explain, you give them more to twist against you. But when you stay silent, you strip them of their power. You force them to sit with their own insecurity, their own desperation for control. You become untouchable. This does not mean you allow disrespect. It means you refuse to let it consume your energy. It means you respond through action, not words. It means you let your results, your discipline, and your unshakable presence do the talking for you. So the next time someone tries to bait you into a reaction, resist. The next time someone spreads rumors, let them talk. The next time someone disrespects you, look them in the eye, say nothing, and walk away. Because the person who cannot be provoked is the person who holds the most power. Lesson 6. Keep your achievements quiet. Let them see, not hear. There is an old saying, a lion does not have to announce its roar. In today's world, people are obsessed with broadcasting their every move. They post about their plans before they've even started. They seek validation for their progress before they've truly achieved anything, and they crave recognition more than they crave the discipline required to succeed. This is a mistake, a powerful one, and one that will cost you respect. Real power moves in silence. The most successful people, the ones who truly command respect, do not seek applause. They work in the shadows, they build in silence, and they let their results do the talking. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus taught that we should not speak of what we will do, but instead let our actions show who we are. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that the opinions of others are irrelevant compared to the work itself. Announcing your every move exposes you. The moment you speak of your plans, you invite resistance. Some will doubt you, some will discourage you, and others, whether out of jealousy or hidden malice, will try to obstruct you. And even if they say nothing, their silent negativity alone can plant seeds of doubt in your mind. The more you talk, the more you dilute your power. Think of a river. It is strongest when it flows quietly, cutting through rock with sheer force. But when that same river is broken into many small streams, its power is lost. Your energy is the same. The more you speak of your goals, the more scattered your focus becomes. The more you seek validation, the more dependent you become on approval that ultimately means nothing. The great men of history did not spend their time explaining what they would do. They simply did it. They moved in silence, and then one day, the world woke up to see what they had built. So learn to embrace the discipline of quiet. Work when no one is watching. Build without seeking applause. Improve yourself in private. And when the time comes, let your results speak so loudly that you never have to. Because true success is not announced. It is simply undeniable. Lesson 7. Cut off those who drain your energy immediately. There are two types of people in your life. Those who sharpen you and those who dull you. The ones who inspire you, push you forward, and help you grow. And the ones who drain you, exhaust you, and pull you down with their negativity, their selfishness, and their endless problems. If you want to live with strength, clarity, and purpose, you must master the art of cutting people off without hesitation. Most people make the mistake of keeping toxic individuals around out of obligation. They tell themselves that because of history, because of shared experiences, or because of guilt, they must tolerate the presence of people who do nothing but drain them. This is a mistake, and it is one of the greatest forms of self-betrayal. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." But what many fail to realize is that the quality of your thoughts is deeply influenced by the people you surround yourself with. If you are constantly around complainers, manipulators, and energy leeches, you will find yourself carrying their burdens, adopting their fears, and internalizing their negativity. You must see your energy as sacred. Imagine it like a bank account. Every interaction you have is either a deposit or a withdrawal. The people who challenge you, uplift you, and push you to be better, they make deposits. The ones who gossip, demand, complain, and take without giving, they make withdrawals. And if you are not careful, if you let too many energy drainers stay in your life, one day you will wake up bankrupt, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. And here's the harsh truth. Some people will never stop taking. They will keep asking for more, keep leaning on you, keep unloading their chaos onto you, because they have no intention of carrying their own weight. And they will not stop until you make them stop. So you must be ruthless. You must decide that your peace is more important than their comfort. The moment you realize that someone is draining you, that their presence leaves you feeling worse instead of better, you must remove them, without guilt, without explanation, without a second thought. And yes, they will call you selfish. They will tell you that you have changed. They will make you feel like the villain. let them. Because the truth is, the ones who get angry when you set boundaries were the ones who were benefiting from your lack of them. The right people, the ones who truly respect you, will honor your space. They will recognize your need for peace. They will support your growth, not resent it. So from this moment forward, protect your energy as if your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Cut off anyone who drains you without hesitation, and never feel guilty for choosing yourself. Lesson 8. Never let anyone see you beg. There is a certain dignity, a certain strength, that comes from knowing your worth. It is not arrogance. It is not pride. It is self-respect. And self-respect means never lowering yourself to beg for what should already be freely given, whether it be love, attention, respect, or opportunities. The moment you beg, you surrender your power. You send a silent message. I do not believe I am enough on my own. And the world will believe you. People can sense desperation. They can smell it. And the cruel reality is this. The more you beg, the less they will value you. The more you chase, the faster they will run. The more you try to prove your worth, the more they will overlook it. A person who commands respect does not beg. They do not plead for someone to stay. They do not fight to be seen. They do not degrade themselves for validation. They understand that what is truly meant for them will stay, and what is not meant for them is a waste of time. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus taught that we must detach ourselves from external validation, for it is not within our control. Marcus Aurelius lived by the principle that a man must act with integrity and purpose, regardless of who acknowledges it. To beg is to forget your own power. To beg is to place your self-worth in the hands of others, hoping they will return it to you. Do not make that mistake. Think about it. If someone does not see your value, why would their validation suddenly make you more valuable? If someone does not respect you, why would pleading for their respect ever change that? Respect is not something you beg for. It is something you command through action. This applies to everything: relationships, friendships, careers, life itself. If someone wants to leave, let them. If someone refuses to acknowledge your worth, walk away. If a door closes, do not stand there knocking, build your own. Because the truth is, the moment you beg, you become replaceable. But when you walk away with dignity, when you refuse to lower yourself for scraps of attention or respect, you become unforgettable. The strongest people in the world are not the ones who never experience loss or rejection. They are the ones who never let it define them. They do not crumble when someone withholds approval. They do not chase what does not belong to them. They do not fear being alone because they know their own worth. So make a decision right now. You will never beg for what should be freely given. You will not beg for love, for respect, for attention, for opportunities. You will not chase what is trying to leave. You will stand firm in your value, and if someone cannot see it, that is their loss, not yours. Because those who truly respect you will never put you in a position where you have to beg. And those who do, they were never worthy of you to begin with. Lesson 9. Master the art of walking away. There is a power in walking away that few people ever understand. It is not an act of weakness. It is not giving up. It is the ultimate demonstration of self-respect. Most people stay in situations that diminish them. They remain in toxic relationships, one-sided friendships, unfulfilling jobs, and environments that drain their spirit, not because they don't know they deserve better, but because they are afraid of leaving. They are afraid of the unknown, afraid of what people will say, afraid that if they walk away, they may never find something better. But here is the truth. Walking away is not about loss. It is about gain. It is about choosing yourself when the world refuses to give you what you are worth. It is about refusing to settle for crumbs when you deserve the whole feast. It is about having the courage to leave behind everything that does not honor you, knowing that your future holds more than your past ever could. The Stoics understood this well. Epictetus taught that attachment to anything outside of our control, whether people, possessions, or circumstances, only leads to suffering. He believed that true strength comes from the ability to let go without resistance, to detach from anything that no longer serves our highest self. To stay in a place where you are not valued is to betray yourself. To walk away is to reclaim your power. Think about how much energy you have wasted trying to fix situations that were never meant to be fixed. How many times have you tolerated disrespect, hoping it would change? How often have you fought for a place at a table that was never built for you? How much of your time has been spent waiting for someone to see your worth instead of simply walking away and finding someone who already does. Enough. From this moment on, you must master the art of walking away. Walk away from disrespect. The moment someone belittles you, disregards you, or makes you feel like you are less than what you are, leave. No arguments, no second chances, no explanations. Walk away from relationships that drain you. If someone does not appreciate your presence, give them the gift of your absence. Walk away from environments that do not support your growth. If a place suffocates your ambition, if it stifles your potential, remove yourself and never look back. Walk away from anyone who makes you feel like you must prove your worth. The right people will recognize it without you having to convince them. And yes, people will talk. They will say you've changed. They will call you cold, selfish, or ruthless. Let them. Because the reality is, those who benefit from your silence, from your tolerance, from your willingness to stay where you are not valued, will always resent the moment you choose yourself. But choosing yourself is not a mistake. It is not something to apologize for. It is the greatest act of self-respect. Walking away does not mean you do not care. It means you care enough about yourself to no longer accept anything that does not serve your highest good. Because here's what you must remember. Those who truly value you will never put you in a position where you have to walk away. And those who do, they were never worthy of you to begin with. So walk, without fear. Walk, without regret. And never look back. Conclusion. Respect is not something you ask for. It is something you embody. It is something you enforce through the way you carry yourself, the way you set boundaries, and the way you refuse to tolerate anything less than what you deserve. The truth is, people treat you exactly how you allow them to. If you let them disrespect you, they will. If you chase their approval, they will withhold it. If you explain yourself to those who do not value you, they will twist your words and test your limits. But you are not here to be tested. You are here to command respect, to move with purpose, to stand so firmly in your worth that the world has no choice but to take notice. From this moment on, stop explaining yourself. Those who truly value you don't need an explanation. Set your boundaries and enforce them. The right people will respect them. The wrong ones will leave, let them. Move with confidence. Walk like you belong, because you do. Detach from the need for approval. Your worth is not up for debate. Master silence. Let people wonder, let them assume, but never let them control your emotions. Protect your energy. Cut off anyone who drains you without hesitation. Never beg for anything. What is meant for you will come to you. And when the time comes, walk away. Without regret, without hesitation, without looking back. Because the truth is, the moment you start living by these principles, everything changes. People will treat you differently. They will recognize your power. They will see that you are not someone to be played with. And those who don't, they were never meant to be in your life anyway. So, the choice is yours. Will you continue to accept less than what you deserve? Or will you step into your power and command the respect that is rightfully yours? If you're ready to master this mindset and take control of your life, subscribe to the channel now. Because this is just the beginning. Your journey to self-mastery starts today.